Have you ever noticed how people automatically assume that being alone after 70 means you're sad, or even broken? They say things like, "Oh, I feel so sorry for her," or "He must be so lonely." But what if I told you that being alone, truly alone, after 70 can actually be a sign of incredible strength? In today's video, we're going to challenge everything you've been told about solitude in old age. Because being alone doesn't mean you're unloved. It might mean you're finally free to be yourself. We'll uncover how solitude becomes a superpower in your golden years, how it helps you grow, heal, and even become happier than you've ever been. Let's dive into the truth behind aging alone, and why it's not a weakness, but a victory. Reason number 1. Society's misconception about aging alone. For decades, society has painted a very specific picture of what aging should look like, surrounded by family, constant companionship, a home always full of people. And when that doesn't happen, people start whispering. They assume if you're spending time alone, you're miserable, that you're forgotten, that something must be wrong. But here's the truth. Those assumptions say more about them than they do about you. Many older adults choose solitude, not because they have no other option, but because they finally earned the right to live life on their terms. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely. In fact, researchers from the University of Chicago found that emotional satisfaction doesn't depend on how many people you're surrounded by, but rather the quality of your inner life. It's time we stop viewing independence as isolation. Because the truth is, there's immense quiet power in walking your own path, even if you're walking it solo. Reason number 2. Emotional strength gained through solitude. There's a strength that only solitude can build, and it's not loud or obvious. It's the kind of emotional resilience that grows when you learn to enjoy your own company. After 70, many people discover that being alone isn't something to fear. It's something to master. Without constant distractions or expectations from others, you start hearing your own thoughts more clearly. You reflect deeper. You grow wiser. Solitude teaches you to process emotions independently. You learn how to comfort yourself, how to celebrate small wins quietly, and how to sit with grief without falling apart. That's not weakness. That's emotional strength that younger people often haven't developed yet. Many seniors say it's in these quiet moments that they've come to know themselves best. They've faced memories, regrets, and hopes with honesty, and come out stronger on the other side. Being alone doesn't break you. It builds you. One peaceful, honest moment at a time. Reason number 3. Alone doesn't mean lonely. It means selective. There's a big difference between being alone and being lonely. After 70, many people stop chasing constant connection and start choosing peace. They become more selective. Not because they've given up on relationships, but because they've grown wiser about which ones matter. At this age, you've likely experienced enough drama, disappointment, and surface-level conversations. So instead of filling your calendar, you start filtering your circle. You choose people who energize you, who listen, who get it, and you let the rest fade away without guilt. That's not isolation. That's emotional intelligence. Think about it. If you'd rather enjoy your morning coffee alone than force small talk with someone who drains you, that's strength. If you skip a social gathering to read, knit, walk, or simply rest, that's clarity. Solitude becomes a way to honor your values, protect your peace, and only let in what truly uplifts you. Reason number 4. Examples of empowered solitude. Let's bring this idea to life. What does empowered solitude look like? It's the 73-year-old man who takes himself to the lake every Sunday, fishing in silence. Not because no one invited him out, but because that's where he reconnects with himself. It's the 77-year-old woman who starts painting again after 40 years. Her mornings are spent with a cup of tea and a canvas, not because she's left out, but because she's finally doing what her soul craved all along. Or the widow who travels solo, stays in little guest houses, chats with locals, journals at night, creating her own rhythm instead of waiting for someone to accompany her. These aren't people who were abandoned. They're people who chose themselves. Their solitude isn't filled with sadness, it's filled with meaning, intention, and self-respect. They aren't asking for permission to live fully. They're just doing it. Reason number 5. The science behind it. Brain and emotional health. Now let's get into the science, because solitude doesn't just feel empowering. It's backed by research. Studies from institutions like Harvard and UC San Francisco show that intentional solitude in older adults is linked to improved cognitive health and lower rates of depression. Why? Because when you're alone by choice, your brain has time to rest, reflect, and reorganize. Neuroscientists call this the default mode network. It's the part of your brain that kicks in during quiet moments. It helps you process your life, find meaning, and even spark creative thinking. There's also evidence that seniors who regularly spend time alone doing purposeful activities, like gardening, reading, or walking, have better memory retention and emotional regulation. One 2021 study found that seniors who practiced daily reflection time alone were 28% less likely to experience mood disorders over the next 5 years. In other words, choosing solitude isn't giving up on life, it's protecting it. You're giving your brain space to stay sharp, your heart room to breathe, and your soul the quiet it sometimes craves. So the next time someone asks, "Don't you get lonely?" Know this, your peaceful, quiet life is keeping you healthy in ways they probably don't even realize. Reason number 6. How to embrace solitude in a healthy way. Let's talk about how to thrive in solitude, not just survive it. First, structure your alone time. Solitude doesn't mean aimless hours. Give each day a rhythm. Maybe mornings are for movement, stretching, walking, or even dancing. Afternoons for learning or creating, reading, knitting, writing. Evenings, reflection, gratitude, and rest. Second, find your sanctuary activities, those small rituals that bring you peace and joy. Lighting a candle while journaling, drinking tea on your balcony as the sun sets, playing music that feeds your soul. These aren't time fillers, they're life shapers. Third, connect deeply, even if rarely. Being alone doesn't mean cutting off from the world. It means choosing quality over quantity. One meaningful conversation can fuel your spirit more than a dozen surface-level chats. Fourth, nurture your purpose. Whether it's helping others, expressing yourself creatively, or simply enjoying the beauty of life, give yourself a reason to wake up with a full heart. Purpose turns solitude into strength. And finally, speak kindly to yourself. In solitude, your inner voice gets louder. Make sure it's a voice of compassion, encouragement, and self-trust. Because the truth is, being alone after 70 isn't something to pity, it's something to admire, when it's lived with intention, care, and heart. So if you're spending more time alone these days, pause and take a breath. This isn't a failure or a phase to rush through. It might just be the greatest gift of this chapter in your life. Because in solitude, you've learned how to stand on your own, how to listen to your own thoughts, how to find joy that isn't dependent on anyone else's presence. That's not loneliness, that's power. And while others may chase noise and validation, you've discovered something richer: peace, purpose, and self-respect. So wear your solitude proudly, because the strongest people are often the ones who can sit with themselves and still smile. If this message spoke to you, let us know in the comments. What's one thing you've grown to love about being alone? And don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom, wellness, and reflection, right here on Senior Life Insights.